Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I'll be teaching a graduate course in career counseling in just a couple of weeks, the summer session. And I thought it might be useful for my students, and as well as you who may be taking a class either now or in the future, um, to hear my best thoughts on how to make the most of a class. First of all, I think it's important to, um, when it comes time to, I mean, this is going to seem not very fun, but to do the readings in advance of the class in which it will be discussed. You will learn more, you will importantly remember more, you'll be able to ask smart questions, you will also be prepared if he asks or she asks a question, you'll be better prepared to answer. I know that's not fun, but as I look back on courses where I really did the reading in advance, um, it really is a plus. Now a bit about questions and comments in the class. Um, Generally, there are no dumb questions. Of course, there are really some dumb questions, but mostly, and if you're afraid it's going to be a dumb question, maybe you want to ask a fellow student. But in general, uh, you do want to ask your questions, make your comments, but the rule of thumb is to not make any more questions or comments than your proportional share, maybe a little more than your proportional share compared to other students. You don't want to dominate, and it's not fair to other students. Note taking. People make a mistake of taking too few or too many notes. Too few is a mistake because you want to have a few things that you really want to remember for your life, not just for the midterm or whatever. I'm going to turn off the speaker so we don't hear the email coming in. But you don't want to take too many because then you get overwhelmed. You don't remember anything that's really important. You want to take two kinds of notes. Yeah, probably the things that you think the professor thinks is important, because it will affect the midterm, and also because he or she's got, she is more experienced, more knowledgeable than you, and probably has a sense of what in the long run is going to be important for you. But also the things that you don't already know, because it's a waste of time to write down what you already know. But the key, most important points that you want to remember for your career or your personal life. Now I want to talk about assignments and homework. Often, one of the ways to make the most of a class is if the assigned term paper or project or whatever it feels like, oh crap, this is just an assignment I got to do do for the course, but if you really feel there might be something better that you could do of equal difficulty and equal amount of time, I'd encourage you to go to the professor and ask whether you could do that alternative assignment, whether it be a reading assignment or a term paper or a project. Very often the professor really welcomes that, if only for selfish reasons, because he or she is going to be reading, say, if there's 20 people in the class, 20 term papers on the same topic, and if you can propose something else, that might be, really interesting. Better to come with a proposed alternative, although sometimes if you're really stuck, you could go to the professor and ask him or her for an alternative. What else do I want to say? Field work. Very often, a very important benefit you derive from the course is what you've learned from a field work, placement or something, or internship, that kind of thing. If after the first session in your internship or field work you think that either it's ill-suited, you're not going to learn a lot, either because the placement feels ill-suited or the supervisor is not as helpful as you would like, sure, you might try to talking with that supervisor to see if it could be adjusted. But if you feel like, oh my God, the next 15 weeks are not going to be that useful, it is appropriate for you to go and ask the professor for a possible change, or maybe dig up your own and ask the professor if it's okay. What else do I want to say? It is certainly fine and maybe more than fine, to be either seeing the professor at his or her office hours or to email them. That's the individualized instruction you really want. Don't do it to say, is this going to be in the midterm? But if it's something you really want to know, yes, maybe for the exam, but more likely because it'll improve you as a professional or personally, it's perfectly fine to see that professor during the office hours or email. And that's the individualized instruction that is likely to make the biggest difference. Anyway, those are my thoughts on how to make the most of a class. I am going to upload it to YouTube and make it required viewing for my students in my Golden Gate University class. That's it. Feel free to give this, down below on YouTube. You can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Do that as you see appropriate. Make a comment. Or there's a share button which you can share on social media if you, again, deem it appropriate. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.